How is it going, everybody? My name is DeMarco, and PlayStation has officially announced their Summer Games Showcase, taking place on May 24th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is exciting for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you're watching this on Wednesday, it's just a week away. If you're watching it after the fact, less than 1 week. I love when these things come so close together. We don't really have to wait that long. And number two, it's really the kickoff to Summer Games Fest, the first real game showcase before Xbox, EA, and all the other studios come out and do the same. And I love this time of year, this celebration of gaming. This and the Game Awards, two of my favorite times to look forward to in the gaming space. So, if you're excited, let me know. But first, we're going to kick it off with what we can't expect. Of course, my personal predictions. If I get anything wrong, or you disagree, or you have your own thoughts, be sure to let me know down in the comments section below. But additionally, because everybody's going to be doing that, I want to have a more unique conversation. You and I sit down, a casual talk about whether or not this is a good move for Sony to cut everybody off for their showcase, or they should have waited, especially when you consider two of the major releases from both Xbox and Sony. You have Spider-Man 2 on one side, you have Starfield on the other. Is it a good idea, especially when they might both be sharing that September release date? Which one's going to come out on top? I'm rooting for both. No console elitism here, no stupid petty console wars on this channel. We're better than that. So without further ado, let's get started into our first game, the very obvious and to be expected and highly anticipated Spider-Man 2. Venom voice actor Tony Todd accidentally sent out a tweet, had a little oopsie that mentioned the game was probably going to be releasing in September, and I believe that. The tweet's now deleted, came from an official source. Why the hell not? And alongside, we've all sort of been predicting that 2023 release date. They're running out of months to do it. If they're gonna release it in 2023, this is the time that they need to show it off, and I fully anticipate that they're going to dedicate most of the time, the longest amount of preview will probably go here for Spider-Man, and I'm in love with that. I want the deep dive of all the new features and upgrades and how it's improving on its predecessor, because of course for a sequel, that's super important. So checking off this one with 100% certainty. But speaking of superhero games, you also have to consider Wolverine appearing as well, also coming from Insomniac Games. We know that they have multiple teams working on all different projects, which is why they've been able to pump out these games faster than... Well, I'll let you finish that one on your own. Wherever your mind goes, that's on you. But I will say, Insomniac probably will want to keep Wolverine separate, unfortunately for fans. I'm a big fan. I'm really looking forward to more about that title, how they do service to Logan. I really like him as a character, and I think he's been done very well lately. I want to see that continue. But for the most part, Insomniac, keep the focus on Spider-Man. We already got the tease. We know what's coming down in the pipeline. And hey, if you want to talk about it later on, either next year or even give us a small new tease at the Game Awards, I think that might be the better opportunity. Leave the focus and the spotlight on Spider-Man. So I'm going to give a big ol' no to Wolverine, unfortunately. And if two superhero games weren't enough, you also have to consider the possibility of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League making an appearance as well. This was previously shown off the in-depth gameplay look at a former State of Play event, so is it going to come back around? Rocksteady's always been on the PlayStation boat, so are they going to come back around again? And admittedly, since they did announce a delay that the game was getting pushed into 2024, I would hesitate to say that we see anything from Rocksteady here. I would actually appreciate if they kind of hunker down, focus on the game and fixing whatever that needs to be fixed for whatever caused the delay, and then come back strong at the Game Awards for a new presentation. Let it sit for a bit, let them cook. If they are going to show something, however, I think it would be best for Kill the Justice League to focus on the story elements, because while the gameplay doesn't look all that promising, at least in my opinion and many others, I'm not alone in that, what I will say is that the story does, at least from what we've seen so far, seem to hold up to the Rocksteady standard that we all know and love, and that's the part I'm most excited about exploring. So if they want to focus on that, great, but I'm ultimately going to say probably not. Final Fantasy fans are eating good this year, with Final Fantasy 16 releasing in June, and then also not too far on the horizon, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Now, contrary to what I was saying about Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, these two release dates are close enough that 1000%, why not start showing off footage for Rebirth now. Get that marketing cycle started. And what I will say is, what better way to really kill a showcase for Final Fantasy fans than having a deep look into what 16 has to offer, and then immediately following with a second 1-2 punch for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth footage and revealing that trailer to everybody that you have. It would be killer. Bluepoint Games. If you don't know who they are, you're going to want to learn. Those are the folks who helped work on God of War Ragnarok to ship that game, but more notably, they're the guys who do a lot of the remakes that Sony has been making. You might know them from Demon's Souls, for example. Really talented team, and I love the story of stuff like this happening where they were known for doing their remakes. That's primarily what they helped on, and now they're getting the opportunity to create a brand new IP from their studio. Love to hear it. Since their last major thing that they worked on was 2020, I'm excited and eager and anticipating that we'll see whatever their new project is here, at least a tease for it, with probably a 2024 release date if I had to put a little bit of a guess on that one. On the other end of the spectrum, game that I'm not expecting to show up would be Death Stranding 2, for no other reason than I'm guessing. That and the fact that we all know how buddy-buddy Jeff Keighley and Kojima are. I would not put it past if they're already setting plans for the exclusive showcase of Death Stranding 2's proper gameplay at the Game Awards. That's where it was first revealed to us that past year, so to come back around a year later and showcase the game fully and properly would be a pretty cool way to do it. Maybe to me, 6 months just seems like too short a window. We have no idea when this game might be releasing, so I'm leaning towards no with this one. But if you're a really big fan of Death Stranding and you're really looking forward to the sequel, then I hope I'm wrong. Coming from the official Twitter that we're probably getting a remake of the first Mortal Kombat, which for a fan such as myself who might be interested in getting into the story, if it kind of had a clean slate where I can do that, I'd be completely down for that. And everybody up until this point thought that it was going to be showcased at this PlayStation event because they were teasing something coming soon. Turns out that it's actually happening tomorrow on the 18th, based on when you're watching this video. Benefits of releasing a video late finally pays off. Doesn't mean that it won't show up at the PlayStation event. It's possible they show a little bit trailer and say, hey, see more on the 24th with PlayStation's showcase. And it can happen, but ultimately if they're doing the time to show their own game and they've already marketed and teased it as such, why not just give the whole shebang right there? You don't need to be part of PlayStation to do it. If they do happen to do some kind of partnership after the fact with PlayStation, then hey, everybody who's talked about it is still right. If they don't, then just remember who was right about this one. Ignore all the other stuff that I might have gotten wrong. Just forget about that. This one I might be correct on. There's 2 multiplayer titles coming from first-party Sony studios. This is including Horizon and their multiplayer experience that's seemingly, I think, being predicted like an MMO-esque type game. That, I believe, is too far away for now. They're still looking for narrative director team members. That's really where people became aware of this project, and so it's going to take a while until we hear more information about that. And then there's also The Last of Us Factions, which 100% I think we're going to see at this event, and I'm excited. I enjoyed it in the original Last of Us when the multiplayer mode launched with that. Now we're getting a more robust experience that took several more years to develop and couldn't release with the main game, so my expectations are a bit higher. We have to see what happens with that, and if it meets those expectations, that's a different story entirely. But I'm looking forward to Factions. Believe that one will be here 100%. I'm gonna do a little bit of a speed round here because, oh my god, are there a lot of games. All right, Metal Gear Solid Remake. Yes, I'm trusting some other folks on this one. They're saying definite yes. I'm gonna take their word for it, and if they're wrong, we'll go yell at them together. Ghost of Tsushima 2, no. KOTOR Remake, no. It's been in this weird limbo. We heard bad things about it in 2022. Staff were fired. It's moving development teams. At one point, I think it was on hold indefinitely. If it's getting rebuilt from the ground up, we don't know. Nope, nothing publicly. It's been under tight wraps. So, assuming that it's being reworked quite extensively, might need some more time to cook on that one, although I really want to see how they're remaking that game because it is dated as good as it was. Silent Hill 2 remake, absolutely. Castlevania, which I've heard some people whispering about. Unfortunately, no. There's 2 games I want to highlight as wish list items. We'll keep asking it every single year until it happens, PlayStation. Make it happen sooner rather than later. Sly Cooper, number 1, and Jak and Daxter in some form to return for number 2. Everybody wants it, PlayStation. I've asked. I've done the research. I've asked everybody on the planet. They all said they want to see it. So let's see it. Got through this whole video, nearly done editing, realized I didn't talk at all about VR. So it's a whole nother can of worms. I'm not going to go through what I think or don't think we're going to see in relation to VR games. What I will say, I love VR, think it's an underutilized medium. I want more developers to continue to push in that direction. And thank you, Sony, for supporting it, because Microsoft's basically written it off entirely. And that, to me, absolutely sucks. Although I will say, for the sake of PlayStation, really need more titles to sell people on that, especially at the price point. Yikes. As far as predictions go, agree, disagree, let me know. Just think I'm an idiot for some of the things I said. Totally fine too. Let me know down in the comments section below. And here's back to the original video. But I did want to end this discussion with whether or not, just simple conversation between you and I, is it a good idea for Sony to be cutting ahead in this line, to be jumping in front of specifically Xbox that's having their own showcase a month later, when Xbox has supposedly some really exciting titles that they're going to be showing off? There's predictions for Fable, for Avowed, and of course Starfield, which is getting its own dedicated 30-minute showcase. Starfield in particular releasing the same month as Spider-Man allegedly is, in September. Should they have waited? Should they have been the final impression and waited until after Xbox? And my honest answer is, no, I don't think it really matters. These consoles are almost 4 years old now, and I firmly believe that whoever was going to invest in either ecosystem already has. They have their platform, whether it's Xbox, whether it's PlayStation. They're playing it, and they're going to buy the games that interest them within that ecosystem. Sure, of course, you're going to get some minority that goes, I need to pick up an Xbox. I don't have an Xbox. I need one to play Starfield. Yeah, you're going to get that. That's definitely not the majority of cases. So as far as long-term results and performance go for either of these games, they already have their audiences that are interested. If someone was going to be an early adopter, buying it day one, buying it shortly after at full price still, after the reviews have maybe come out and they've settled or earned some extra cash for them, they were already going to do so. Anybody else is just an added benefit. They were going to pick it up later, pick it up at a sale price after they got their hands on the console, once the prices have firmly and comfortably come down. So long term, don't think it's really going to have an effect. And I can't iterate enough that I think console wars are stupid and petty and ridiculous, and honestly I just want to see both games do really well and everybody enjoy both games, myself included. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know everyone kind of has the same information I do, but I look forward to hearing all of your thoughts. It's my favorite part of doing YouTube. I really do love it, and I don't say that enough, or maybe I say it too much. Let me know that as well while you're at it. Thank you guys, and as always, I hope to see you all next time. So long, everybody.